Bonsoir. I play too much. I really do. I'm the Mademoiselle and ça c'est deuxième Chanel. Welcome to my second channel. If you're seeing my face and you think I changed content, no, I did not. I have multiple channels. Peep the description box for everything down below. As you guys can tell by today's title, we're actually going to be doing a money-hungry voodoo story time. Now, I choose not to do these stories for a reason, just like the love spell stories, because literally the reason most people get into black magic is due to love and money. Those are like literally two of the top reasons. And I really want y'all to be safe because y'all don't listen to me, because every single time I read one of these KrikKrakCOZ stories, y'all literally prove that y'all don't listen to me by coming to me, asking me what y'all should do about something I already told you not to do. Okay, so I'm going to be doing a little bit more of these, but I'm going to do them sporadically because I'm not going to hold you. The money-based black magic story times kind of creep me out, specifically because they might be some of the stories that I've seen happen in person, or I know the people like pretty close that these things have happened to. So yeah, I kind of just try to stay away from it. But of course, before we get started, comment down below if you have an experience with people using black magic to get money, or if it is something that is happening to you. Because as a lot of you should know, if you've watched me before, I've touched on it before, using black magic or voodoo to get money is probably one of the worst things that you can do. Whatever is destined for you is destined for you. But if it is not destined for you, you are in for a lot of shit if you try to acquire it by any means necessary. And in this case, black magic. Now, of course, as I have said millions of times, Haitian voodoo, black magic, completely two different things. Okay, even more mind-blowing for those of you guys who are not aware, witchcraft, voodoo, not the same thing. I know, right? Crazy. All of those are completely different things, okay? Completely different practices, completely different rules, completely different whatever, okay? Now, manifesting money, right? Drawing money to yourself is not an issue. However, when you sit there and you do spells or you curse people to try to get money that does not belong to you, or try to acquire money from a way of literally sacrificing someone, that's when we're teetering into like unforgivable territory in the spiritual space. So this story takes place in Haiti. Okay, as you already know, I always mix up the details. And this is something that took place, well, we're gonna just pick a random town. We're gonna say, you know what, we're just gonna say this shit happened in Okap, right? So once upon a time, there was a man, okay? And we're gonna call him, I'm just gonna pick a very Haitian name. We're gonna name him Luclo, okay? I already know somebody know Luclo. Okay, comment down below if by chance you know Luclo. I don't know why that's the first thing that popped in my head. And Luclo was obviously of the working class in Haiti. He didn't have much, but you know, he made sure he worked to get the little bit of money that he had so that he can feed his family. At the time, he had a wife. We're gonna say that her name is Julia. Okay, so Luclo and Julia were very much in love. They had about 1.5 kids. One kid already, like, let's say the kid was like 2, and then there was one baking in the oven at that point. Luclo was a different type of person, right? Now, I think everybody wants more money and everybody has the want to do more, but not everybody has that drive. Not everybody has that motivation. And most importantly, not everybody can be consistent. So he started picking up more shifts. He started doing more independent things so that he can have more money to feed his wife and his children. But one day, let's say he was getting off of work really, really late. Most of the time, he wouldn't take any late jobs because obviously, as I told you guys millions of times, and a lot of people have said in the comment section, you do not walk around certain countries at night. Haiti is one of those countries, okay? You just don't do it. A lot of bad things can happen to you, but there are times where you have no choice because of work or because of whatever. Life happens. So he happened to be walking home at night one day. And this day in particular, he ends up walking back home at night, right? And he gets home and his wife is like, oh, like, why'd you come home so late? You know, you shouldn't be out at night. And he's like, oh, I know. But like, you know, I had this job. It was a great opportunity. It paid a lot of money. She's like, okay, like, that's fine. But like, make sure, you know, you protect yourself, you pray, or whatever the case may be, because, you know, there's a lot of crazy things out there. Most importantly, she was like, make sure like whenever you come home, you take like the direct route. Like, don't try to take any shortcuts or anything like that because you don't know what's lurking back there. Now, the thing is with Luclo lived in Okap, but he wasn't from Okap. He was from like a completely different region in Haiti. Let's just say he was from Gonaïve, like, and he moved all the way to Okap for, I think it was school. Yes, I think he moved over there for school and then he ended up staying there and meeting his wife, etc. So she was like, yeah, like, just make sure you don't go through those bushes or whatever. Now, One thing you got to know about Okap, okay? And it's funny because I learned this like a few years ago because I started meeting a lot of people that were born in Okap or are from Okap. And they started telling me so many crazy voodoo stories. Like some of the craziest voodoo stories I have literally do come from Okap now that I think about it. Even though I kind of just picked this city, there's a lot of crazy things that happen there. It's one of the most spiritual places in Haiti, specifically because that is where a lot of the Haitian Revolution took place. It is one of the places of the many Haitian voodoo ceremonies that took place in order for us to gain independence. So loads of spiritual activity. So the north of Haiti in general, that is like that. But Okap, one of the main places. So she's like, yeah, just don't go behind those bushes or don't take a shortcut. Just take the direct route, take the, the full open road or whatever. So he's like, okay, for sure. Fast forward weeks later, he ends up walking and he decides to take a shortcut because at this point it's getting really, really late. He's like, oh, it's going to rain. So I'm just going to have to take the shortcut, completely forgetting what his wife told him, specifically what not to do, which, I mean, to be honest, we all know that men don't listen anyway, but I feel like he really should have listened this time. So he goes and he takes the shortcut and he ends up seeing a person, right? And the person's like, oh, like, how are you? Where are you coming from, my boy? And he's like, oh, coming from work. And, he keeps walking. Like, he's kind of trying to avoid this person, but this person's, like, walking beside him. Like, oh, how? Like, the guy comes from nowhere, okay? Like, he didn't know where he came from. This is, like, an open road. Like, the guy just kind of appeared to him. He's like, oh, where are you coming from? Like, whatever. He's like, oh, I'm good. Like, he just keeps walking. He's like, I'm good. He's like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, like, why are you out so late at night? He was like, I had a job to do. I got off really late. He's like, oh, okay. I never seen you around here before. Why do you take this way? He said, oh, because, like, again, it's late and I just came off of work. So that's why I'm taking this way. He goes, oh, okay, damn, like, it must be, real hard to be working this hard, this late at night all the time. He goes, yeah, lately I've been taking the later jobs because, they pay more. He goes, oh, okay, well, I have a way for you to solve that. Now, like I said, he was very motivated. He was very driven. That's why he started taking the night shifts in the first place. So he's like, what do you mean by that? He gets intrigued at this point. So he kind of stops walking. He's like, oh, I can make sure that you have more money than you could ever think to do with. And he's like, really? Like, what do you do? Like, you have a job for me? He goes, no, not necessarily. It's just a few things that I want you to do for me. He goes, really? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, what is it that, like, is it car work? Is it cleaning? Is it like, what is it? And he goes, actually, meet me back here tomorrow, same time. So I'll tell you then. Now, realistically, this motherfucker should have told somebody and this motherfucker should have never went back in that damn area. Like, I personally would not have came back, but at the same time, I have to think about it from the mentality of people who are living in like legit stress, legit poverty, legit like issues. Like, personally, I would be like, no, fuck no. But for people that are really going through something and really need the money, like, you're gonna go back. Would I go back at night? No, I probably would be like, could we meet at 9 a.m., over some coffee? But no. Next day, he comes back, same place, same dude is there. Now, a description of this dude, because I really want to know if you guys are able, okay, to guess what spirit it is, because I'm not going to tell you guys. Because a lot of y'all like to sit here, you like to watch my shit, you don't like, you don't share, you don't comment. So now, we're going to comment down below. I really want to know if you guys can guess the spirit, right? So, if you guys didn't already realize that this person wasn't a real person, welcome to the channel. That means you're new here. The person that he was meaning was not a person. However, Luclo did not know that. Luclo really thought it was a person that was trying to offer him a legitimate job opportunity, right? So let's just say that this person, aka spirit, was dressed very nicely, very dapper, like businessman type of attire, like not a full-blown suit, like how do I explain it? It wasn't, I want to say, I'm not a man. So it's hard for me to explain this. Like, he was, let's just say he was dressed really, really nice. Suit, jacket, dress pants, but it wasn't like a full-blown suit. That's why I said it wasn't a suit. Like, it was a suit, but not really a suit. It wasn't really matching, but it was really, really nice. His hair was done. He looked real clean. Like, he looked like a businessman. So that's why he was inclined to trust this man. And he didn't really question anything. He just went there. Now, one thing about Haitians really do respect authority. It's probably part of the reason that we're in the issue that we're in now, because a lot of times there's people in position of power that we shouldn't trust, but just because that person has a little bit of power, we tend to trust them more. So he's like, oh, like, so Luclo goes, meets up with this guy. The guy's like, oh, I didn't think I would see you. He pulls out his watch. He's like, oh, I didn't think I would see you. I thought you'd be late. Luclo was like, no, like, I really want this opportunity. My wife is pregnant. I'm trying to like get everything together so that we can, have a better life. I'm trying to make this money out here. He said, yeah, I understand. So yeah, this opportunity doesn't really ask much of you. All you got to do is take this right here and go bury it under this tree And yeah, then you're gonna do this. You're gonna take this beer and you're gonna pour it. Like, girl, I'm just making shit up right now. I don't even remember how the story was told in terms of like what they said to do. But even if I did, I probably wouldn't tell you guys because I'm not gonna tell y'all spells on here. Go read a book, go find out Ogo, a mumbo, or a buckhorn. But let's just say, yeah, he said, go take this, bury it under a tree, pour beer over it, and then recite this thing 3 times. So at this point, Luke started getting a little suspicious. He said, that's the job. He's like, oh, yeah, like, yeah, that's the job. Like, what's the problem? He said, I just thought, like, you know, you wanted me to, like, you know, organize something for you or, you know, tend to the animals or, you know, deal with some clients or something. He said, oh, no, that's all I need, but it's for a client, you know. I work with a lot of people, and yeah, like, that's one of the jobs that the people told me to do, and, you know, you work so hard, you know, so I just gave you the light work. All the heavy work's been done yet. And he goes, okay, so all I gotta do is go do what you said, like put that under the tree, pour the whatever over it, and I'm done, right? He goes, yup. And then, but it's very important that you do it at this specific time. And he's like, okay, so how much does this job pay? I told you, you're gonna have more money than you will know what to do with. And he goes, just from doing this one job. He said, just for doing this one job. So he goes at that specific time. Let's just say the time was like, I don't know, 5:28 p.m. All right. He goes, does it next night, mind you. So at this point, now he's meeting this guy nightly. His wife is getting a little suspicious, but at the same time, he's a working man. He started taking these shifts to make more money. So he goes back every night to meet up with this guy, and he gives him a series of tasks to do. It's not just that. It's like other stuff like, okay, I need you to go get me 3 black chickens and a white goat. I need you to go get me a cow, but I need you to kill it and bring me his head. I like just a bunch of weird stuff, and he's not thinking anything of it. To be quite honest with you, I'm sitting there like when my friend was telling me the story, I'm just like, so he didn't realize he was working for a spirit? And apparently he didn't, because this spirit manifested in full-blown human form, okay? He's just like doing this job and he's getting this money. But I'm telling y'all, money, bitch, okay, money. $20, $30, $40, $50 can go a long way in Haiti. All right. This man, every single night after he does whatever it is he asks him to do, is depositing over $5,000 US to his account. Okay. Now, I just told y'all $20, $30, $40, $50 could do a lot in Haiti. It could buy you some time. It could buy you some stuff. It could buy you some food. $5,000 US every night. So at this point, he's not thinking anything of it, okay? He's buying clothes. He's buying stuff for the baby. He upgrades the house, okay? And funny enough, his wife doesn't think anything of it. She does think it's weird that he keeps taking night shifts because it's dangerous to be walking out at night. However, she's not thinking like anything of like him getting that much money until the only time she started thinking something of it was when he upgraded the house. Like they literally moved from like, you know, a regular standard Haiti house situation to like a brand new white beautiful house villa type vibe. So she's like, how did you afford this? Like Julia's like, look Lola. And he's like, oh, yon mesye m'jwen, oh, yon mesye mwen jwen li pou nan m'sot travay, li di m'fè un ti travay pou li, and li pay him. So Julia's like, what guy is this? He's like, well, businessman, I don't know. Like, he's like, you didn't get his name? He was like, I'm liye non lui, mwen non te Saint-Mi, Larry, Mikel, Makone. Bruh, nigga didn't get his name at all. He didn't give a fuck. He said, do this job, you gonna get paid. He got paid, he didn't give a fuck. I ain't gonna hold you. That's wild. I was like, what? You know, like, that's just absolutely crazy. But hey, so Julia's like, that is like, how are you working for somebody you don't know their name? He's like, don't worry, Sherry, like, don't worry. All you need to do is, you know, just, you know, be done with this pregnancy and I'll take care of you, blah, blah, blah. Everything's handled. So fast forward, keeps working for this dude. And then eventually the dude, okay, this mystery dude, the spirit or whatever, he's like, oh, you know, our work here is done. Like, I really don't need you anymore. Like, but we'll definitely keep in touch. So Luke was like, what do you mean? Like, I need this money to take care of my family. He said, listen, I've been giving you $5,000 every night for the past like month or so. You have enough money right now. And I guarantee you it will multiply. And he said, multiply how? Like, you know, you the best work I found in like the past couple months, shit, in the past year. Like, how? He goes, don't worry, we'll keep in touch. Keeps coming back around the same time, different times to try to see if he can find the dude again. Because at this point, he's like, shit, like, I really need this money. I just told y'all, a little bit of money goes a long way in Haiti. This man was getting $5,000 every day for like a month. Y'all do the math. That's a lot of fucking bread, especially in Haiti. Okay, so he's getting a little greedy at this point, and he's just like trying to ask around, like, oh my God, do y'all know this guy? You know, he wears suits and he be walking around at night, da 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 da. At this point, everybody, like, a lot of people said no, but there's a couple people that looked at him like, is his hair like this? Does he wear a coat like that? Does he da 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 like that? And he's like, yeah, do you know him? Is that like your uncle? Is it your dad? Like, do y'all know him? And a lot of people kind of got scared and they kind of just stopped talking to Luke Lo. Like, a lot of people at that point, like, once they knew what he was talking about and once they kind of like got a gauge of the story, they stopped talking to him cold turkey. At this point, Luke Lo is just like, all right, they just jealous because I got all this money. Okay, they just mad because I'm balling and they're not. And Julia kind of starts getting concerned because there's people that are coming back to Julia like, hey, your husband was dealing with malevolent spirits in the woods. He keeps coming around asking for the spirit. You need to tell him, like, he need to relax. He can't be dealing with that spirit. So Julia being confused, like, how the fuck is he dealing with spirits? Like, all he does is work. She's not putting two and two together. So whatever. Years go by, nothing happens. They are on baby number 3 at this point, and something arrives at their door. Like, just say it was like a letter or something saying to meet this guy, okay, the same guy at whatever. Now, at this point, now he knows his name because now his name is on the thing. So let's just say his name is Mr. Henry, okay? He was like, all right, meet Mr. Henry at this location, 12:28 p.m. type shit. Oh, my bad, a.m. So he's like, oh shit, like, the nigga came back. So now at this point, he really hasn't been working too much. It's been like 2 or 3 years since that whole situation. He hasn't been working that much because he really does have a lot of money on him. Like, when I'm telling you that money could last you in Haiti, especially if you do it right, it could really last you. So he hasn't worked too much. He hasn't been working as hard. He's living his best life. Wife is on baby number 3, but let me go see if I can hustle some more. And, you know, he tells Julia about it, and Julia's like, oh, okay, you haven't heard from that guy in a long time. It's interesting that he just randomly popped up again. He's like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna go meet him up, blah, blah, blah. He said, and obviously his wife being concerned is like, I mean, you shouldn't really be going out at night. It's one thing if you're coming from work, you know, like back in the day when you used to walk at night to come home and, you know, do all of that. But, you know, like, I don't understand, like, why you have to go in the middle of the night. Like, he can't meet you at, like, 10 a.m. He said, no, like, that's what he said. And he's very specific. Like, I can't be late. Like, how you think I got all this money? Because I was working with him. I was doing what, you know, he was telling me to do. And at that point, Julia's like, what was he telling you to do? And he starts telling him how he gave him a collection of things to bury places, water, do all of this extra shit. So Julia's like, what did this man look like? Funny enough, this whole time, never asked him. Okay, all he did was ask for his name. And he didn't even know the name at the time. So at this point, she's like, what did he look like? And he's like, oh, you know, he got this suit on. He got his hair like that. And, you know, really well-dressed man, businessman looking, da-da-da-da. Julia is like, so you've been working for this dude the entire time? And he said, yeah. He said, oh, my God. Like, that's what everybody's been talking about in the neighborhood. That's why everybody stopped talking to you. Like, you can't go back there. Like, you can't go meet with this guy. Luke Lo's like, what are you talking about? This man just gave us all this fucking money. That's the reason we had his house. Like, what are you, like, that's the reason we eating good right now. Like, what you talking about right now? I want to go see this man. So they get into this huge argument. Julia's like, you can't go. You can't go. Like, I don't think that's a real person. And Luke Lo's like, what do you mean it's not a real person? Like, I know him. I've seen him. Like, it has to be a real person. Like, I see him all the time. And it's so funny because my dad has told me so many stories like this too, like where he's seen people that weren't people and be mad because, like, they'd be like, I don't want to say malevolent, but like they'd be playing with him. And my dad would be like, I'm gonna fuck you up. And they're like, haha, I'm a ghost. I'm dead. You can't do shit. Crazy as fuck. So that shit creeped me out. I was like, yo, like, this nigga was dealing with a spirit the whole time and he didn't even know. So against his wife's wishes, he goes and he meets Mr. Henry, okay? And Mr. Henry's like, oh, didn't think you would make it. I thought you'd be late. Same shit. And he's like, oh, no, like, you know, I've been really meaning to, you know, meet up with you again and see you again. Like, you really helped me and my family out. Thank you so much. Like, thank you, thank you. He goes, yeah. You know, I just need one more thing from you. But, you know, it's not going to be much. At this point, he gives him a job to do. Very simple, very easy, nothing like, you know, to whatever, just like the other jobs that he was doing. And he goes, yeah, I just need you to, you know, go get some water from the local river and bring it to me. Brings it to him. And he goes, oh, okay, for sure. I'll do anything. He said, I need the name of your wife's child. At this point, Piccolo is like, what the fuck? Like, at this point, fear starts to ensue. He's like, what do you mean the name of my wife's child? He said, the one that she's pregnant with. And he goes, are you going to tell me the name or not? So Luke Lo started getting a little scared. He's like, we don't know what we don't know what we're gonna name the baby yet. Okay, well, it's gonna be a girl, and why don't you come up with a name right now? So at that point, now he's thinking like, damn, should I stay? Should I? At this point, he's like, what the fuck is going on here? You're like, why? What do you need the name for? well, you know, all that money I gave you, you know, all those jobs you did for me, you know, that was great and all, but I'm in need of something more. And he goes, my baby's name? Like, I don't understand. Like, the baby, like, in my wife's stomach, like, you need the name? Like, what does that have to do with anything? At this point, this person manifests into a full-blown, like, jab. Like, this human thing just started like, shape-shifting in front of his eyes. And he's like, you're going to give me the name, or blah, 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 blah. Now, there's a lot of different speculations you can make from the story. I personally don't think so, because, I mean, it could have been a gad, okay? And it could have been a demon. It also could have been a ghost. I don't think ghosts shapeshift, but understand, it wasn't a real human, because obviously it's shapeshifting, right? And the crazy part is, depending on whichever you would think it is, there would be different reasonings as to why they wanted the name of the child, okay? So at this point, Luklo takes off fucking running, thinking that's going to do something for him. It doesn't do anything for him, okay? Unfortunately, weeks later, his wife ends up miscarrying this child. And mind you, this child was far along. Let's say the child was already like 5 months or whatever. They tried to save the baby. The baby could not be saved. And it was a very tragic experience. But the money came in. Like, and this time it wasn't just $5,000. It was $50,000. So $50,000. So at this point, he's putting two and two together. He's like, what the fuck? He's just very, very, like, confused, but he's mind fucked. Okay? He's more mind fucked than anything, because he's like, what? Like, where? I got $50,000 for giving you some seawater and doing this, that, and the third. So now he goes and he's trying to find this spirit again. Okay, he goes around the neighborhood trying to ask if anybody knows or seen this person. Everybody's just looking at him like, didn't your wife tell you not to take shortcuts? Didn't your wife say not to go back? And he's like, yeah, I understand, but like, I really need some answers, because I think that like that spirit might have like killed my kid as a sacrifice or something like that. And literally one older person in the neighborhood, we're just gonna call them the elder. Okay, the elder was just like, when you make deals, okay, malevolent deals with spirits, okay, anything in the spiritual for that matter, it comes at great consequence, especially when there's money involved. So Luklo starts fucking crying. He's losing his shit. He said, I didn't sacrifice anything. I didn't make no deals with anybody. And the elder's like, indeed you did. You were commissioned to do whatever it is he asked you to do. God knows what he asked you to do and why he asked you to do it. And in turn, you took money. So I don't know what to tell you, but you better figure it out. So at this point, he goes and he tells Julia, tells his wife, like, bro, I fucked up. I don't know what's going on. Like, this shit is crazy. Tells her the whole story. The wife is fucking sick. Okay, she is mad. She's just like, bro, like, you just locked us into some serious shit. Like, first of all, you're telling me I lost my baby because of you. Second of all, like, we're now in some shit with a spirit and we're probably never going to get out of it. Luklo's like, what do you mean we're never going to get out of it? Now, Luklo is one of those people, he's not really into Haitian voodoo or anything of that sort. There's people out there like that, especially in Haiti, believe it or not. Not into it, not religious. Like, what do you mean we can't get out of it? And Julia's like, bitch, you accepted money from a spirit for doing God knows what. We don't know. You probably were out here committing, like, you were probably out here helping the spirit do rituals and shit for other people, and they could have been malevolent. Nonetheless, you took the money, you spent the money. Now, unless you could give all that money back, like, we're stuck. So if you guys are not aware, the reason I don't like doing these types of stories is because it gets really, really dicey, right? Again, manifesting money and drawing money to you is different from outright like doing things for spirits and receiving money as commission, or asking for millions of dollars, or asking to win the lottery. I have a lottery story as well. Literally 9 times out of 10, if you're asking for a large sum of money, okay, like anything over 1,000, maybe a little more, right? Anything over certain amounts, at that point, you're treading into black magic type of territory. There's of things that are not meant for you. Therefore, there are large sacrifices that have to be made in order to balance the earth. I tell you guys all the time, that's the whole point of magic, okay? Whether we're talking about white, gray, black magic, the whole point of magic is to balance the earth. Unfortunately, a lot of people use it for malevolent deeds. And unfortunately, Luklo was dumb enough not to listen to his wife. And now he done got them fucking involved in some shit. So at this point, he's like, what the fuck? I need to find this spirit. So eventually, he kind of gives up on it because he realized he's not going to find the spirit. That is unsaid. He's chilling in the house because, again, he still has a fuck ton of money. He still had that $5,000 a day from a few years ago. Like, a lot of it was still there. And then now he got an extra 50 racks. Like, my guy is chilling, okay? And spirit comes to him in the house, okay? Doesn't look like the spirit that he saw, but it's a completely different spirit. And the spirit's like, I heard you were looking for me. And he's like, what? He said, I heard you were looking for me. I'm here now. and you have some work to do. And he said, I wasn't looking for you. I don't even know who you are. He said, yes, you do. Why do you think you have so much money in your bank account right now? Why do you think you can even eat every day? Before you met me, you were struggling. So you have some work to do. Long story short, let's just fast forward. For years, he was tied to this spirit. I feel like the spirit was a gad, because I know most of the time gads operate like that. But typically, a gad is something like of a neighborhood or of a laku or of a family. Like usually it's like somebody that passed away. Usually it's someone that passed away that has like elevated spiritual powers. Like but there's a lot of different things that go into the gad thing. I made a video about gads. You can feel free to type in GAD, Chronicles of a Zoe, or I'm gonna link it down below. Hopefully I remember, but if I don't, just type it in. Gads scare me. They're probably the only thing I'll say that I'm scared of in the spiritual next to vampires. I hate me a vampire. That's another story for another time, right? Vampires, gads, two things I'm just like, nope, because it's just too much involved in that. And when it comes to gads, they're very specific and they like what they like. You gotta do things a certain way or else you're gonna get fucked. Very interesting enough, though, this is the only story I have where someone didn't actually intentionally go work with a gad or honor a gad and they got stuck with one. So 4 years, okay, this man was working with the gad, doing this, that, and the third, and he was getting so much money from it to the point where eventually his kids and his wife end up moving to the U.S. At this point, I think he has like 4 kids, maybe 5 kids. We'll just say 5 kids. Moved to the U.S., still going to Haiti every year or so to honor this gad, to do whatever it is with this gad. And everything goes so well until eventually go COVID, right? And this is why I be telling niggas, right? I hate extremely religious people because a lot of times extremely religious people have a lot of shit to hide, unless they're young. I feel like young people that are extremely religious, 9 times out of 10 have that ingrained in them and they really love God and they really love whatever it is that they serve. And that's why they're extremely religious. But a lot of these grown, okay, a lot of these adults that are extremely religious, 9 times out of 10 are extremely religious because they came from fuck shit, okay? We see it all the time with the scammers that get caught. All of a sudden, they found Jesus. We see it all the time with people that was out here trying to hex people, and now all of a sudden, they're fucking deacons of a church. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. That's why I really don't trust super religious people, like the people that throw Bible verses and stuff. Like, I feel like if you're truly religious and you really are of God, you don't feel the need to sit there and do all of that performative Christianity, which I should do a dedicated video on that, okay? Just to add, this is part of the reason I truly don't care for a lot of religious people, and I feel like a lot of them are fake, and a lot of them just be saying shit and just trying to save their souls from all of the bad things that they've done. It's funny because me and my dad always joke around about this, and we always say, like, the main people you're going to find in church is young people because they don't have a choice, and older people because they're going to die. So they're trying to repent. And listen, if this is not you, it's not you. If you are well within your rights of loving God, loving whatever it is that you serve, and you die hard, know that you're doing it for the right reasons and not because you're trying to cover your ass without actually repenting and trying to fix what you did, then hey, if it don't apply, let it fly. I don't got time for the angry comments about what I'm saying, because obviously if you're a real Christian, if you're a real Buddhist, if you're a real Muslim, if you're a real whatever, then this doesn't apply to you. Additionally, if you guys are a little lost of how all of this happened, it's because 9 times out of 10, when you're asking someone when you're asking a spirit for something that you're not supposed to have, it's going to take from somewhere else, even if you do not consent to it. And a lot of times it may be your kids, it may be your mom, it may be your dad, it may be your sister. It could be any and everything. In this case, he got tricked by the spirit though. Very unfortunate situation because yeah, his kids had to suffer for it. So basically, everything goes well until he's like, oh, I'm going to convert. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of going to Haiti to give whatever it is to this gad, which makes no sense. The gad is the reason that you were even able to have that nice ass life in Haiti. Personally, there is a way to disconnect from the gad and a way to not have the sequence of events that I'm going to tell you guys happen. But niggas like to think, oh, I go to church now, nothing's gonna happen to me. Y'all, there's other things out there besides God. And I feel like it's very important to understand that everybody, whether you're Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, understands that not everything is love and light. And unfortunately, love and light cannot always save you. So they end up being, I don't know, let's just say lies. We're gonna say they're Pentecostal, okay? So they end up converting, they're Pentecostal, and shit goes downhill almost immediately after their little baptism or whatever, right? So now let's say the first kid that they had in the beginning of the story, unfortunately, this kid ends up committing suicide for no apparent reason that anyone would know. Now, of course, as someone that has a mental illness, I know I struggle in silence, okay? I don't tell nobody what the fuck I'm going through ever. So yeah, if I were to off myself, it would be a little shocking to a lot of people, but y'all know that I also have mental illness diagnoses, which I talk about all the time on this channel, Instagram, my main channel, my personal channel. So it's like, it won't be too far-fetched. This kid had 0 issues of that kind. As a matter of fact, they didn't believe in mental health issues, okay? This first kid was one of those like, oh, well, you need to get up and do it yourself. Okay, like, don't go to therapy. That's bullshit. Like, he was one of those, okay? And off himself. A lot of people didn't think anything of it. A lot of people like, oh, la vie America dual, you know, life in America was so hard. That's probably why he killed himself. Okay, whatever. Moving on. Next kid ends up getting in a horrible car accident to the point where they're permanently disfigured, permanently in a wheelchair. But hey, at least they didn't die. Third child ends up going crazy, okay? Mental ward. Mind you, all of these things have no relation to each other. There's just random acts and they're happening like boom, boom, boom. Like it was like 1 month this happens, 6 months later this happens, 3 months later this happens. So yeah, this child ends up in a psych ward. Fourth child ends up going to jail. Why? Because they murdered someone. Apparently they were hearing voices in their head that told them to kill someone. Now, ironically, again, a lot of you guys might chop this up to, oh, maybe the whole entire family is just mentally ill. Maybe. Y'all already know I am a proud advocate of mental illness, okay? Like, I think that all of it needs to be discussed. I feel like everybody need to go to therapy, but at the same time, I know that a lot of things are not mental. A lot of it is spiritual, but I'm also very mundane before magical. This shit was just ridiculous. Like, how all that shit happened in like a span of 2 to 3 years, okay? Now, the last 2 kids that they had, right? The last 2 kids started seeing like, no, this ain't normal. There's no way we lost 3 of our fucking siblings in the span of like 2 to 3 years. Like, that's absolutely insane. And they really started to like seek answers. They started asking their parents. They started asking family members. And of course, like every Haitian fucking parent ever, okay? No, there's nothing going on. It's just unfortunate. It's an accident. It's this, it's that. They didn't want to tell their kids about anything. Because quite frankly, since they converted, they didn't think any of this had anything to do with that spirit that they met in the goddamn woods years ago that gave them all that damn money. So they're just like, nope, we don't know. Like, it's just really unfortunate. You know, you need to pray for the souls of your brothers and your sisters. Didn't really get any answers from them. It wasn't until they ended up finding a mumbo in the States, right? They go to the mumbo, they explain to the mumbo what's going on, and they're like, oh, well, yeah, your parents made a deal for money. Like, literally, guys not aware that your parents made a deal for a lot of money, and the kids are stumped. Like, because they raised their kids in the church, okay? They raised their kids in the church, they go to church all the time, and on top of that, like, they lived a very luxury life in the U.S. Let's just say they were in Miami, right? They lived a very luxury life, and the mumbo's like, why are you surprised? How you think your parents got all that money? They came from America in like what, the 80s or whatever. Like, where did you think? Like, I mean, yeah, like it's possible, but like you guys live a very, very cushy life. Like, you know. And at this point, they kind of start thinking like, okay, now this mumbo just saying shit, this mumbo just talking. But then the mumbo's like, well, ask your mom what happened to the third child. And they were like, what? The third child just went to the psych ward. Like our third sibling, like our third. And she's like, no, the real third child, the one that passed away. They go ask the mom. They find out they had another sibling that did not survive. Kid didn't survive because blah, blah, blah. The mom tried to tell some convoluted story of, oh, well, like, yeah, the baby died because it was sick and we didn't have medicine in Haiti type shit. Child, the 2 kids, okay, it was 2 girls. Okay, those are the last babies. They were like, no, like, you got me fucked up. Like, y'all are into some shit. We need to fix it. We need to da-da, or like, we're gonna die. I'm not trying to die. The parents are trying to assure them that there's nothing wrong and there's nothing that's gonna happen. Things get extremely worse, okay? Unfortunately, the wife ends up dying before anything could happen, okay? She ended up getting diagnosed with some sort of cancer, like stage 4 overnight. Like, it was very weird. Like, she never been sick. She never had any issues. All of a sudden, she had stage 4 cancer when they had planned to go to Haiti to try to appease the GAD or whatever the case may be. And yeah, at that point, now the dad caved. Okay, the dad's like, all right, I'm going to tell y'all the truth. Goes, tells his kids the entire story. They're terrified. They're mortified. They're pissed the fuck off that they lied about it. And now, basically, the whole family's dying off because they don't want to do what they got to do. And they're like, no, we have to go to Haiti. We have to go to Haiti now. Like, we have to go. The dad is terrified. He's like, I'm not going to Haiti. I'm never going back to Haiti. I don't want to go back there. And they're like, what the fuck do you mean you're never going back there? You used to go back there all the time to deal with your damn spirit. And they're like, no, but if I go back there, I'm going to die. Like, I don't want to die. I'm not ready to die. All this type of shit. They dragged the dad to Haiti anyway. And sure enough, dad gets sick, okay? The dad, and obviously we're in Haiti now, so nobody could really diagnose the issue, but I really feel like no one would ever be able to really diagnose the issue because it was a lot of fucking issues. It was a string of different issues. The man is coughing, he's vomiting blood, he's pooping blood, he can barely speak, he's super weak, he has no appetite. at this point, if the sickness don't kill him, the fact that he can't eat is going to kill him. Like, it was just a whole situation. So the two girls end up finding an ogon, and the ogon essentially helps them make the offerings to the god. But yeah, unfortunately, the dad ended up dying anyway. But the two kids ended up leading very normal lives. If I'm not mistaken, I don't remember if the story was they kept serving the god or they kind of like cut off that connection so they wouldn't have to continue in their parents' footsteps. So yeah, take this story with a word of caution. One, don't do shit for money. If it ain't for you, it ain't for you. And two, make sure you know what the fuck your parents are involved with, because it will affect you. I have so many friends going through spiritual battles because of the caca their parents and other families did. It's insane. Shit, I'm going through spiritual caca because of the bullshit my parents have done and dealt with. Like, I'm sitting here trying to save the soul of my fucking uncle, okay? He already did. And I'm like, why didn't anybody go fix that before he died if we already knew? Child, again, another story for another time, okay? So with that being said, stay safe. I love you guys so very much. And I'm going to see y'all next time. Oh, wait. Make sure you guys join the membership. Like, share, subscribe. I said like, subscribe. Okay. Make sure you guys join the membership. Peep the description box for everything you guys always ask me about down below. Peep my other channels. And I'm going to see y'all next time.